Guys, I'm James Vint, and I'm glad that you're all on here tonight. And it's exciting to talk about the No Huddle. We actually got started with this back about 17 years ago. I was coaching in New York City and in the Bronx, and a guy that recruited our area was a guy some of you are familiar with named Chip Kelly, and he recruited our area from New Hampshire. And he came down and uh, was recruiting a couple of our kids, and we got to talk a little bit. And he was really on the cutting edge of a lot of this, and we gradually started to install some no huddle concepts. And the biggest thing for us was figuring out what worked and what didn't work, and what gave us the best opportunity to communicate what we wanted done with our kids. A lot of you guys have probably seen where you'll put together your terminology, and all of a sudden you have 8 or 9 or 10 words for a play call. And being in the no huddle really helped us be able to simplify some of our verbiage and terminology. But I'm going to take you through here a system for being able to communicate what you want run with your players, and 5 different ways, essentially, or 4 ways, but really 5 ways of calling your plays and how they all marry together. And it's one of the reasons why we don't worry a whole lot about people stealing our signals. As we go through this, I'm also going to talk you through some of the different tempos that we use, why we use tempos. This is a lot more than just communication. I want to give you kind of the whole picture. So we'll go ahead and get started with that. I'm now coaching down in Lubbock, Texas, at a 5A high school. We're in the same district with Odessa Permian and Midland Lee and all those guys, Abilene Cooper. So it's a battle every week. We took over an offense last year that the year before had scored just 15 points a game. And we came out and we increased our plays per game from 48 to 67. Our yards per game from 280 to 472, I believe. And in our last 6 games, which included teams like Midland Lee and Odessa Permian, we averaged 43.3 points, and really had a lot of success as we were able to play some games with tempo. So I'm going to kind of take you through the whole deal here. Here's my contact information, and it's I'm available anytime. I do get quite a few emails each day, but I always try to return them. And if there's ever a reason where I don't, just shoot me another one. It isn't intentional. I do have a blog also, coachvent.blogspot.com. And then we talk a lot of football on Twitter. And follow me, I'll follow you back. And my Twitter's at CoachVent. Let's talk about some game advantages of the no huddle, why we got into this. First reason was we wanted to be able to dictate the tempo. It's not just about going fast. We could also slow the game down. We wanted to create chaos with the defense, and I have some clips where you're going to see some breakdowns on defense simply because they had to line up faster than what they were able to do. Big issue, we create substitution issues. Because of our ability to go very fast, defenses really have a struggle to get their substitutions in. This year we had 8 times where the defense had 12 men on the field or more, and we had 4 times where they had less than 11 on the field. And a lot of that came with our changing tempos. We also can create mismatches. We'll have situations where teams want to, we have a 1,000-yard receiver that'll be returning, and they'll want to put a certain guy on him. And because of our tempo and being able to move him around, it makes it tough on the defense to be able to get their guys into position. We want to force them to be vanilla in their approach. It's really tough for defenses to be able to make a lot of calls when we can run up and snap the ball before they can get their calls echoed. So they tend to have to make a lot of very quick adjustments, and to avoid having to make mistakes, they'll be relatively simple. One of the big things is we force them to tip their hand because we have the ability to go up, make it look like we're going to run a play. We can see what they're lined up in, and then we can force them to tip their hand, and we can make a call based on what they're doing. One of the neatest things here, and this is what I like, is some of our play calls can get relatively wordy. We can break those now into more manageable units. In the huddle, you have to call the formation, the motion, the play, and then any tags that you have. When you go no huddle, you can now take and break your calls up to signal the formation. Everybody can get to their spots. Then you can make a motion call. They can process it. Then you can make your play call. And that's something that I think our players really liked.